Good morning. It's Monday morning and it's beautiful outside today. We had breakfast out on the deck, except for Rocky. Rocky was not allowed on the deck because he keeps barking at our neighbors. Most annoying thing ever, having a Great Dane that barks, because it is the loudest bark you can imagine. Everybody thinks we've got a dangerous dog over here, and he's a big puppy. We are ASMM Digital Small Business Podcast. We are the podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. The idea of this podcast is to help you take what other entrepreneurs have learned and put it into work for your business. We want you to find something here that you can put to work for you and help you make more money, help you grow your business, help you develop as a business owner. That's what we're looking for. We're on episode 65 today, and we are streaming live. I tell you we're streaming live because I want to remind you that you can ask questions. If you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube or you're on Twitter, you can ask a question. It'll pop up on my screen. I'll be able to see it. And if it's a good question, I can share it. But also, I want you to shamelessly plug your business. And I have to tell you, I don't approve of the way you're doing it. Nobody's shamelessly plugging their business. Shamelessly plug your business. Tell us what you do. This is an opportunity for you to reach out to other people and let them know what you do. It is okay. It's how we grow as business owners. So please do shamelessly plug your business. Today we have Jack Smith from Shackley. I'm going to pull him on. Hi, Jack. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good morning, Ann.
So Jack and I actually are in the same BNI, and we had the nicest one-to-one when I first joined the group, because we're not quite from the same hometown, but pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. So that was, and you got your start on radio.
Yeah, actually, I started off, believe it or not, started off in a little small town in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And it was after hours. I was with the Boy Scout Club, and Boy Scouts, and then they took us over to a radio station. I really got hooked on it. And then from there, just like medical, and I stayed medical the rest of my life. So yeah, that's how I got started and everything.
Well, and so that's another thing we had in common, right? Because I started my career at B100 down in Wilmington, North Carolina. So it was so funny how much we had in common on that very first call. So tell us what you do exactly.
Well, basically what I do, and my wife, we have the same businesses together, is that we have an all-natural health and wellness company. And so what we do is our main thought and our main goal is there's so many people that don't understand how nutrition is impacting their health. But the big thing about it is the environmental impact. And we really, really are pushing and helping other people understand how the cleaners you use in your home can impact the environment, as well as you and your family and the health of your family. So our goal is to get out there and to help families one at a time to get the environmental impact taken care of, and also make sure that they have a healthy family.
Right. Well, and I like this. I like that we're talking about this today, because people are in their homes all the time. And we joke around and we say that we moved house during the pandemic just so we could get out of our other house, because we were so tired of being in one place, right? Because you're stuck inside the whole time. But we are. So it's important that our home's safe. So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at when we're talking about how safe is our home?
Well, I think one of the things that people don't realize is that, everything that you expose to your skin, it takes about 10 seconds for it to absorb into your body. And a lot of the chemicals we use in our home, they have all these smells to it and everything else, but those smells have been designed to mask the chemical smells in the homes. So when little kids are running across the floor, they're picking up the residual from the house cleaning products and the toxic chemicals, and it's going to them, and it affects them with writing. It affects their nervous system, their circulatory system, their respiratory system, and we don't realize that. So a long time ago, we've been told, our house is the safest place. In reality, it's not. It's a very dangerous place. And that's what we're trying to get people to wake up and realize, is that these chemicals at a very early age impact our health and can go all the way through to other generations.
Right. Well, I was thinking about this. So I was thinking about Clorox, actually. So everybody's talking about Clorox. Everybody's talking about bleach, because right now they're like, that's how you sanitize your home. Whereas, months ago, people were like, we're going to switch dishwasher detergents. We're going to switch everything to be all natural. But then in the past few months, people have been so worried about COVID So is there something, is there really a link there? Do you have to use something like bleach to keep your family safe, or are there all natural products that still sanitize, still keep your family safe from the virus, but also protect you from the chemicals?
Yeah, I think one of the things that people don't realize that, like, for when you take about the COVID virus, in order to get rid of that type of virus, you have to have a chemical to kill the bacteria. There's nothing that's going to get rid of that specifically. So you're going to have a chemical for that, like a hospital grade germicide, and that's going to have a chemical base. However, there are other natural cleaners that you can use that don't have any smell at all. I think one of the things that I like to kind of inform people is that, when a baby's born, a baby doesn't have a smell to it. And that baby came out of a sterile environment. So if it came out of a sterile environment and it doesn't smell, it's clean.
Right.
And you don't get that. But when you look at over the years, different smells have been added, like vanilla and orange and lemon. And that is a psychological marketing effect to get people to bring back memories that are very special to them. So I'm thinking you go back and say, when you walk into some place and you smell like orange, you go, my house is clean now. Not really. Not
right.
really.
Well, it's so funny you say that, because I just posted, I don't know if you're following me on Twitter, but I just posted something on Twitter that I'm having by the way, Rocky is coming over. Sorry, I saw him coming, and there's nothing I can do when that happens. When I bought some new stuff for my shower, and it has an orange smell to it. Right. And now all I can think of is Tang from when I was a child, that drink mix. So right. It does make sense that that's what they're trying to initiate in you, trying to make you smell something that gives you a memory, right?
Well, let me kind of give you an example. Prior to 1974, there was 84,000 chemicals developed for household products specifically. Out of that, 200 were tested, and out of that, only 5 were approved by FDA to use. That was in 74. So how many other chemicals have been done since then that are being introduced, cleaning products that we are using in our homes? And we don't even know what they're doing to us. Now, the other thing about it was when I first got involved with this business and I started thinking about the cleaning, because I love to clean, I was curious, where did the smells come from? Why did they put them in? And how long has it been in the market? And actually, between 1940 and 1950, scientists kind of got together and they were trying to figure out what types of things can we put into these chemicals to help people want to use them because of something favorable happened in their memory. So they went back and they did a research, and they did over thousands of people to try to find out what things bring out really good memories. And it came to 3 different things. It came lemon, orange, and vanilla. And all of those are the same things they're using in the products today. So we're very custom to saying, when we walk in the house and we smell pine, we go, pine sol, my house is very clean now. No, unfortunately, no. So, and that's where the origination of all this stuff came from.
Okay. So, well, let me ask you, so what are the things that aren't safe? If you think about what we're putting in what we're putting on our plates when we're doing dishes, what things?
Okay. When you take a look like at oven cleaners, a lot of the oven cleaners do things like eye damage, skin, mouth, respiratory, chlorine bleach. That's the most involved of the chemicals for emergencies in homes and things. And like, for instance, toilet bowl cleaners, they have they're bad for your respiratory system. And right now with the COVID, you want to try to stay away from things that are going to impact your immunity as well as your respiratory system. So there's a lot of things that are in there, like hydrochloric acid. These are mainly in a lot of the cleaning products. They cause severe damage to the skin, could be fatal if swallowed. They're found in like odor eliminators and toilet bowl cleaners. So when you're looking at your home, it's really good to look at the very back of the labels, because they'll tell you, and this should be a key to anybody, is that if it says used in an open environment, used in well ventilation, wear protection of your hands and clothes, wash your clothes when you get out of it. That's the things you need to be really cautious of, because those are the toxic chemicals we have in our homes. And we really have to be really cautious, because especially with kids around the house, there's been a study that shows that when a person uses chemicals and there's a little kid doing homework, their homework will actually change in the writing. And when they stop using those chemicals, then their actual writing changes again. So, and this was done by a doctor, and I've got the name up for people interested, where I can give them the study on that one. And it just shows the immediate impact that these cleaners have on your nervous system.
All right, that makes total sense. Sorry, I had to mute you because, of course, Rocky had decided to bark. I usually warn my guests and say, hey, if I go completely silent, there's probably a dog barking in the background, so just keep on talking. But what you said makes sense. I mean, here we are, we're looking at it, and it says, wash your hands, wash your face, if it gets in your eyes, right?
Right.
So these are all things that are warnings that, hey, maybe this stuff isn't as good for us as we think it is.
And what about have asthma? These are triggers for asthma.
Right. That makes complete sense. It really does.
People who are going through chemotherapy, as example, their immune system's already low as it is, and you don't need to come in contact with harmful chemicals. And a lot of physicians will tell their patients or chemo patients, use something that doesn't have a lot of toxicity into it when you clean your home.
Right. Right. That makes sense. So, all right. Well, let's go on and talk about, and I know, so just in case people are watching this, people who are watching this are wondering, okay, so what does this have to do with being an entrepreneur? Well, the truth is, right now we're working at home. We're at home all the time. I'm at home more now than I have been in years. And what is in my home can affect the way I do. And people, that's something that people don't necessarily understand until something has happened to them. So tell me a little bit about how you got into this and into something that's more natural.
That was a great lead in. I appreciate that one, because that was a direct impact on my daughter. We were overseas in Germany. I was working for the government, and we noticed that every time my daughter came home from school, from the German school, when they were cleaning, she'd come home and she'd have a rash on her forearms. And we didn't think about it for a while, and then we started noticing she started developing asthma symptoms. So that was really making us wonder, because my wife didn't have asthma on her side. I didn't have asthma on my side of the family. So it had to be something environmental. So my wife was doing some research, and she found out, environmental can cause a lot of leading symptoms to respiratory issues. So when we got back to the States, she had seen Oprah, and Oprah had the owner of our company out there, and he was talking about these organic or these natural cleaners, and how his son had gone through the same type of situation. And so we bought this kit, and we started cleaning, and then we noticed that my daughter didn't have any more asthma problems after that. And since then, that's been like way back in 2000, 2002, and she has not had any asthma since then at all, or any respiratory issues or anything like that. And that's what really got us into that. And then I had health issues with muscular dystrophy, and then I tried some issues, some different products, and my pain went away. I'd been on narcotics from 2000 or 1992 to 2014, and my pain went away after using certain products. So that's what really got us started into this, because it was what we believed in. We believed in products. We didn't believe in medicines because of the side effects. We believed in environmental, and it matched. It was like a checkoff on everything for us.
Right. Well, that makes sense. I don't know. I think we talked about this before, but I had when we first moved back to the States, I had a reaction to a cleaning product, but it was a very major reaction. They thought that I had a stroke, which is crazy that they thought I had a stroke based on a cleaning product. But what you are touching, what you are putting on your body, what you're, those sorts of things, they really do have an effect on you. So it is important.
My daughter talking about one of her customers. She does the same thing we do, and her customer, her dog was licking the sink every time, or the bathtub every time she cleaned, and the dog started getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and she couldn't figure out what it was. And then she started some of the natural cleaning products, and the dog started getting better and better and better. So once again, it shows that, the toxicity of the chemicals that you use in your home does have an impact.
Right. Well, and if you think about, so let's talk about, is your home a place safe for our children, right? Kids, especially when they're little,
Oh
they
yeah.
touch everything,
And in the
right? Right, exactly, exactly. And if you think about our babies on the floor, here we are trying to clean the floor because we're like, oh, our children are crawling, right? If they're out there, they're crawling across the floor. You want it to be a clean floor. So here you are using chemicals on it. Meanwhile, those chemicals are causing them damage.
Yeah, and
So,
pets too. It's not just the kids, it's the pets. I mean, many years ago, if well, I'll give you an example. If you have a dog and your dog is sick more than 7 times a year, you start getting worried about it.
right,
But for us, our children, if they're sick 7 times a year, we don't think anything about it at all. We just say, oh, that's normal. They have colds and everything else. But what is it? Like when when your dog is sick and you go to the doctor, the first thing the doctor says, what did you feed it?
right,
But the doctors don't do that for us. They start looking at different signs and symptoms and thinking about what are those causing those signs and symptoms. If we look back to how we clean our house, a lot of that can start from there. These are just the things that start these things from happening.
right.
Nutrition also has a play in that too. So, is our home a place safe for children? Not if you're using toxic chemicals, no.
Right, right. Well, and you know what? You can take that a step further. You just said nutrition. We're talking about things in our, is our home safe? Right now, we're all at home all the time. So everything we do, everything we cook, everything that's happening is happening in our home. So how is the food that you're feeding your kids? What kind of things are you giving them? What kind of chemicals are you putting in for them
Yeah.
into their bodies?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a lot of people say, "What is organic really organic?" In reality, organic is just a farming process.
Right,
You can have a farm, an organic farm in the middle, and you can have a creek on the right, and you can have a non-organic farm on the left. And because of the situation you're in, you can get contaminated with toxic chemicals from the food and from the water. So the organic foods that you get, it's just an organic process, okay?
right.
But when you're talking about things that you eat, what about the food dye colors? My son has ADD. Red food dye colors drives us crazy. It takes him 3 or 4 days to get out of the system.
Right.
Anything that's processed that is not natural, those things can impact your health also. So, the farming process from years ago, 150 years ago, 100 to maybe even 60 years ago, has dramatically changed from farm to table to farm to chemicals to the industry processing to the media to the middleman and to the farmer to the market before it gets to you. So a lot of
Right.
things have been added to it. And if you take a look at it today, young women going into puberty at a much earlier age has to do with a lot of this.
Right, that makes sense. So let's talk about, this is actually our final topic. We kind of sped through this, but let's talk a little bit about how chemicals affect our health. What are some of the things that we should look out for? What are some of the signs that maybe we're going, okay, so maybe that's chemicals? Because you talked about the rash,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
there are other signs. So what are some of the signs?
Breathing, respiratory issues. If a person has asthma or they're very sensitive to soaps and things of that nature. When you go to bed at night, as example, my daughter, when we used to go to hotels, and every time we went to a place, she would break out in a rash. And it was because of the phosphates that was in the cleaning or the soaps that were used to wash the towels and the sheets and the pillowcases. So when we switched from that, all of those issues went away. So then these are things that we all take for granted. Because when you're going someplace, you're thinking everything's all clean, it's all nice and dandy, but yet you get into pools that have chlorine. Some people have issues with chlorine and don't even know it. Some people
Right.
have issues with phosphate and they don't know that, but they're allergic to things and they scratch a lot. Some people have eczema. Eczema can be caused from a nutritional balance. So a lot of these things people are really not aware of and how it really impacts your health. And cleaning products, That's the big one. If you're going to do anything to start off with having a healthier life, start off by looking at your cleaning products first and gradually move from there up.
That's great. All right. So I want to move on to books because you are a business owner. This is what you do, right? You're running your own business. What books do you use to guide you?
Well, believe it or not, I do a lot of listening to podcasts and stuff like that, like Jim Rohn, like who was the other one? Joel Osteen, um, Tony Robbins, and those guys. Because the one thing that I'm finding out is a lot of them have a biblical scripture in the background of it, and
Right.
it's proven things that everybody has been doing over the years, and different people put it out in a different way. Different people learn from different ways of learning. And some people will like Jim Rohn, some people like Tony Robbins, Les Brown, some of these guys. These guys are great motivators. And in business specifically, it's about relationships and building relationships. You know, you can go out and sell all you want, and you're not going to get repeat business because you haven't developed a relationship with those individuals. And to
Right.
me, with our business, it's relationship based specifically because we want long-term customers. We want to provide for them for the rest of their life and also for their children's, because
Right.
we're impacting their life. And that's what our passion is to help others get better.
Right. Well, let's go back. So you said it's about relationships, and I own a digital marketing agency, and I just spent the morning creating a bunch of posts with talking about this very thing that we go out on Facebook, we go out on Twitter, we go out on Instagram, and we create posts that are all sells. And the truth is, we need to be creating things that are building relationships. We need to be giving information. If,
Yeah,
whatever your business is, educating people.
right.
That is a huge part of it, entertaining them. But education is a huge part of it. So creating things that are giving back and building relationships and then responding, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think it's when you talk about relationship building, it really does run through everything you do in business.
Oh, absolutely. Because one of the things that we like to do is we have podcasts that we do once a week on different types of health things. One will be cleaning, one will be nutrition, one will be women's health. It could be immunity, it can be overall health, it could be a spa night for women, and we do these things. And yes, it's nice to get business from it. I won't say no to that, but it's really nice to get people together and talk and have a good time and ask questions. Because one thing about a relationship business, you have to ask people about themselves, because we're in a society where everybody is about what's in it for me. Nobody's asking the other person, how are you doing? How are you really feeling? What can I help you with? It's all about me, 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 me. And we need to get away from that. And when you're in a relationship building, it's no longer about you. It's about that other person, asking them questions, finding out more about them and their family, developing that really intimate relationship. That's going to be the success of your business, because that's what people are missing, is that reaching out and talking and, hey, you care about me.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually am adding a banner as we're talking,
Oh, sure.
because it occurred to me that here we are, we're talking about relationships. You and I met at BNI
Right.
Capital Business Alliance. So I want to talk about, there's a point in our weekly meeting where we talk about the purpose and overview.
Yeah.
Right? What are we doing and why are we doing it? So I'm going to give you a chance. I want you to talk a little bit about that. And then if you're listening to this or you're watching this, I want you to please reach out to either Jack or myself. We'll send you an invitation to the group,
Oh,
because even if you're
absolutely.
not in the area, you may find that first of all, you may learn something about how people build relationships in networking. You may be able to find new business, but what you'll really do is learn something more. So tell us a little bit about what that purpose and overview is.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Thank you. I love this opportunity. BNI is a great opportunity for a small business person who's just starting out, or even is in business, to get together with people of like-minded minds. It's a giver's game. And what I mean by that is we all have a purpose. We want to grow our business. We have a lot of growing issues. And what BNI does, it allows you to develop that relationship with other business owners on a weekly basis over breakfast or just conversation. Talk about your business so they can market your business when they're talking to their customers. The advantage of it is that through BNI, you're also getting advertising help. you're getting building your relationship help, you're getting a lot of instruction and tutorials with BNI University that helps you market, plan your business, and everything else that you would normally have to try to figure out how to do on your own. But the benefit of it is that you've got all these other people in the group that have most likely experienced the same issues that you've had, and you can get their input. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, everything is right there, all in one place, and it's great.
So, I'm going to tell you, we in one of my groups, I've belonged to 3 BNIs because I've moved, I've had other things happen.
Right.
This is my 3rd one. But my first group, there was a guy named John Bridges. He owns 4 Seasons Land Care out in Pasadena, Maryland. And he has become a huge mentor for me. He's somebody who I talk to a lot, but I tell him, and I joke with him when I say this, but I'm like, your life makes me feel better about my life, because whereas my payroll might be this big, his payroll, because he has, it's a big company, is this big, or he talks to me about, he's told me about, mistakes he's made or things he's lost. He had a few years ago, he had all of his equipment stolen, and it was just really bad timing. He was in the middle of moving from one location to another location, and he hadn't switched his insurance yet.
Oh,
and they took everything, and he lost all of that money, and it almost put him out of business. And I said to him, John, you'd make my life feel better. Because something like that, I'm like, it would be really hard for me to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment, because I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. But it is one of the benefits, is that you do learn from other people. You do see where they are, and they can commiserate with you. That moment at 6 o'clock at night where you're banging your head into the desk going, why am I doing this? Yep. They understand it. They get it. So
you really get to expand on your purpose and your vision, your why, because now you're able to hone in on the areas that you're really good at, and start thinking about, well, where can I put these other people at to work in these areas that I'm not good at, and utilize their experience. And that's where the people from BNI come in at, to take up those other areas that you have a little issues with. So it's a great opportunity for any small business owner whatsoever.
Right. Oh, yeah. And it's funny because you'll hear some people, they're like, oh, that BNI is not for me. And they think of it as a place where you have to go and you have to give referrals. And you do have to go. If you want it to work for you, you have to be there. But it's not a place where you have to give referrals. You give referrals because you end up wanting to, because you've got this giver's gain mentality. And it's huge. As we're speaking, it occurs to me that we should have Saret on the show. She's the owner of the local Central Maryland BNI, and maybe we should have her on to talk really into depth about why.
Absolutely. That would be great.
Yeah. In the meantime, if you guys are listening to this or you're watching this and you want an invitation to come to our chapter, or actually I can also give you an invitation to go to Anastasia's chapter out in Millersville, or I can give you to Saret and she can find a chapter that's perfect for you. Just to visit. You can visit and see what you think, because you may be surprised at how much these groups make a difference in our lives.
And not only that, each group has its own personality, so it's important that you find a group that matches your personality. It really is.
Right. When I invite people, I tell them that I'm like, I am not inviting you so you'll join. I'm inviting you so you get a look at it, because before you join, I encourage you to go to 3 or 4 or 5 and see what they're like, so you can make a decision. And I say that, and then I came to visit this group, the Capital Business Alliance, and I fell completely in love. And I was not even going to join. I had another group, but we had moved out this way. And I got off that first meeting and told my husband, I'm like, well, I found a new group. This is my group. So it is that way.
Have the same experience.
Yeah, it's like when you find your spouse, when you find the right one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, wow. All right. Let's talk about how people find you. How are they going to find you?
Well, there's different ways. You can go on the website, it's listed right here. You can contact me personally on telephone. If I can give my telephone number out, that's great.
Yep, absolutely.
240-688-5139. And I'll also give you my email address. It's jwsmith51@hotmail.com. I'll be more than happy to talk to you. It's all about you, folks. It's not about me. It's all about you. What can I do to help you and your family? And
That's great.
that's our passion.
For people who are listening to this, because we take I didn't say this earlier in the show, but we take the video, we pull the audio out, we put it up as a podcast. So if you're listening to this, the website is pws.shackley.com/Smith Living.
Yeah.
So if you're missing that, we'll also have it in the show notes for you. So you'll be able to see it there, and you'll be able to get in touch with Jack. I want to remind everybody what we have coming up. We have Toy Sweeney coming up on Wednesday, and I'm excited about this. I'm going to make another confession. I feel like I make confessions every single time on the show, but before I started this business, I only wore sports clothes, because before I started this business, I worked in running specialty. I had a blog that was all about running. I was training for Ironman and marathons. And so it made sense. I wore yoga pants pretty much every day of my life. And then I started this business and realized I'm going to have to do something about my style. So Toy is going to talk about wardrobe as a business strategy. And I'm excited about this because I need to learn this stuff. It's not my strong suit. All right. I want to remind you to subscribe. You can subscribe anywhere you're listening to this right now. That means for your podcast, if you're on Spotify or you're on Apple, iTunes, or wherever you are, you can subscribe there. But I also encourage you to do me a favor and subscribe over at YouTube, youtube.com/BrendanAnnie. It will make my kids happy, because right now I'm not monetized and they want me to be monetized. So that would be great. So please do that. Also, I'm going to throw this out here because tomorrow I'm speaking at Passionpreneur Summit, the Passionpreneur Summit. You can get your free tickets to that. If you want that, let me know. But when I speak, I'm going to be giving away a website audit, and it will be a DIY website audit, but it's a guide that will walk you through what to look at on your website and see whether you're doing it right or whether you're missing some things. And I encourage you to do website audits every 3 months. So it's a free tool. ASMMdigital.com/website-audit. So if you want to get yours, that's where you get it. And we are ASMM Digital. We do digital marketing for small businesses. Let me go back to you, Jack. It was really great having you on. It was a nice change from just straight business, right?
Yeah,
because
interchange.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's nice because we are in our homes all the time. And even when we're in our office, as a business owner, it's good to think about your employees and how you're cleaning your offices and whether it's safe for them.
Absolutely.
So, all right, Jack, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on. Guys, I will see you Wednesday, and I look forward to speaking to Toy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.